All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been coming at you with a series of presentations on MIT's App Inventor 2 as part of the Rankin Technical College Summer Academic Adventure Series. We are in the middle of our 7th Android App Inventor 2 app, where we're creating a xylophone. So far, we have created, where is it? Seem to have lost my emulator. And while that is resetting itself, I'll just pause for just a moment. All right, so this is right now what the app looks like. I'm not sure why I'm getting this stuff in there, but it's okay. I just wanted you to see that. Now, what I'm concerned with next is we want to come in and we want to put in the information for when our play button and reset buttons are clicked. All right, I'm going to do the play one first. And when you think about it, two things have to happen when I click the play button. First of all, I have to play the corresponding note. But as I mentioned, when we play, it's the ability where we're going to, when we click the play button, technically when I say play, we want to play back what the user has entered. So in other words, if I sat there and this is the, so I hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, then I click play. Then I want it to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, etc. So I want that to happen. And how am I going to do that? So when this button play or play button is clicked, well, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to want to come over here into my logic, my control, I should say, and I want to put an if statement in here. All right, and it's going to be a simple if then. If, well, I want to see if I have anything to play, because if I click the play button and I haven't played any notes yet, nothing should happen. All right, so how do I do that? Well, I want to go over to my list, and if you notice when I start looking over here, let's see, length of list. So if the length of my list is greater than 0, and notice it doesn't fit in there directly, okay? It's got a notch, but it doesn't make sense, okay? What I need to do is I need to come in here with math, and I need to put in a greater than. All right, and that greater than should really be, or that equal to should be a greater than. All right, now I'm still not there. Okay, why? Because I have to come in here and I have to get my list of notes. So if this is greater than 0. Now, if you're confused, think about what this means. In English, this is saying if I have clicked at least one of the notes on my xylophone, because if I have, what we're going to be doing with notes is we're going to be building a collection of every note that we've entered. So if that's the case, then we want to take our global count that we have, and we want to set that global count to 1, to basically say, yeah, there's a note in there that we want to play. All right, and after we do that, we're going to have to create a new procedure in just a minute. And that new procedure that we're going to call playback note. Now, it's not going to do anything yet, but you'll notice now if I come into procedures, now I can say call playback note, and boom. All right, So if we click that play button and we have something to play it back, we're saying play it back. All right, so let's put a comment in there that says that. When we click, put your fingers in the right keys, when we click the play button, check to see if there are any notes to play back. If there are, call the playback note method to play the notes back. All right. Now that may or may not make a lot of sense to you right now, but it's okay either way. All right, so got our comment. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to collapse this block. And just for now, I'm going to put it over here. So now we're going to come in and write the playback note routine. All right. And this is not a small routine. Okay. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we want to do in here. The first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we're going to be playing back the right note. All right, so that if we hit the low C, we're going to be putting in a low C. So I'm going to come back to my sound, and I want to set my sound source just as we did before. All right, but this is a little bit complex in what we want to do here, because what we want to do is we want to set this, but we want to have it to basically go and get our list, for lack of better words. All right, so I'm going to go over to my list. I'm going to go over here to lists, and I'm going to find here select list item list. Right there. And for the list, well, what do we want to play? Well, we want to play the notes. So we want to get our notes. And what's the index? Well, index is going to be either that, that 0, 1, or whatever, but that's what's going to be in count. All right, so that's the first thing that we want to do. After we do that, then we can tell it to play our sound. So what we want to call here is sound1.play. Okay, we're not done though. All right, next we want to put in a fairly big if statement. Okay, so I'm going to come back in here to control, and I'm going to put in an if statement right there. What we end up doing in here is, for lack of better words, we're going to have to cycle through here, and as long as we have a note to play, we'll want to play it. All right, we'll put a comment in when we get all done here. So I want to get my count. But that's not sufficient in what it is. I want to come back in again to math, and I want another equal, but this will be a less than. So while our global count is less than, and you'll notice there's also here, somewhere in here, I believe, there is a length of list. So again, play computer here. This is again saying, as long as the count, which is going to have how many notes we have, is less than that length. So as long as we still have notes to play, all right. Now we've got to come over to our clock. And we want to set our clock's time interval to what? Well, again, this is a little hinky for lack of better words. So we want to call our clock 1 duration. All right, our start will be another one of these here. All right, we'll want to do a select, and we'll want to get, but this is wrong, we want to get times, and our index will be count, again, just as it was. All right, and our end is going to look very similar to this. And that will be times, and this will be global count, but it's global count minus or plus 1. So we need to come in here and put in another math statement. And show you something I may or may not have shown you before. If I click in a blank spot here and I type in the number 1, notice how it puts it in there? If I click, I can create it like that too. All right. All right, so we've got that part done. Now we have to take our global count and increment it by 1. So we want to set our global count to another math operation. Our current global count, which would be get global count, plus 1. All right. And we want to set our clock's timer there's a timer enabled, and we want to set that equal to true. And that should be in logic. There we go. All right. Now, we are done right now with, that. But if we run it and we tell it to play, nothing is going to happen yet because we literally have not told those buttons that when they're clicked, that they should actually be playing their associated value. All right. So we've got our playback. And while we're doing that, let's take this and let's add a comment, as we said. All right. And this method plays back the saved notes as long as there are notes to play back. Now that's a simple comment, but I'm just going to leave it like that for right now. All right? Okay. Let me take this and collapse it. Check my time. I'm already at 15 minutes, so I'm going to stop right here. When I come back, I'm going to do, we've got 3 different things to do. we have to basically set up a thing to play the individual note. Okay? Then we have to set all our notes up, those 8 notes, so they each play the particular note. Okay, and I guess 4 things to do. Then our reset button, and also our timer. Let's do the timer real quick in here. Okay. So I need clock1.timer. There it is. So when the timer goes off, what do I want to do? Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to set that enabled back to false. We set it to true earlier, so we're going to do that, and we're going to come to logic and set that to false, and then we're going to call playback note. Okay, so that's it for the timer. So now I have 3 things to do. When I come back, I'm going to write another routine that's going to play the individual note. Then I'm going to call each individual note from the associated note in question. All right. And then finally, we'll come back and run our reset button. All right. I'll be back with that in just a couple minutes.